finally cut that radius plate on my yellow lines. I didn't cut this end one off yet, but I probably will cut that off there. And I shortened up the heavy angle iron a little bit so I could put some C channels on the ends, and I welded them on the insides for now. And that's where my hinge is going to be. So I went and got some supplies, some hardwares, and it's friggin' lunchtime already. Oh man, I've got a serious case of shake camera. Oh my goodness. Adventure times. Oh my goodness. That's a good way to break in a new 1/2-inch drill bit. Some of my welds aren't too bad. I think I'm getting better. Think I'm getting better. Anyway, I made this thing. Got the ends boxed in and got the plate on it. Now I'm drilling holes in the ends. Yeah. I'm gonna have to cut most of these ends out, like this whole section here. I'm gonna leave a little bit webbing on the outside for an structural integrity. I got this thing on here. I spaced out the hinge a little bit because I wanted it to tilt a little bit. So if you're plowing and you hit something, the plow can tip down, but I'm gonna have to trim these corners, probably the bottom corners there where it's touching, so I can get just a little more. It's okay, baby. I won't treat you like the others. I promise. This is what I got made up so far, and I'm gonna trim this bottom corner a little bit so it'll tilt down more. I don't want it going up any further than that because when the springs pull it back, it has to stop there. But going down, I want the plow to trip down a little further than that. So I'm probably gonna trim that corner a little bit on the bottom and make a pivot point somewhere around here and make up the frame for the vehicle, the A-frame. Look how friggin' close. Look how close that drill bit is to everything. Oh my goodness. But that's okay. I had to took me a few tries to find the right location to drill the hole, because on the other side there's a tow hook. There's like a tow hook on the driver's side. But I measured the holes, and I drilled the pilot holes first, and I can see straight through, so not too bad considering I did it with a hand drill or by hand. So I'm gonna go around and finish the other side. There's a lot more room here on the inside, on the driver's side. So there's no hoses or anything here. Not even close. Well, there's one there, but there's quite a bit of room in between. But the only interference on this side is this big tow hook. So I think if I put a bracket here, I'll just space it out a little bit and try to get just a little bit outside of the tow hook, so I don't really want to cut it off, and I don't really want to grind in there. And it's actually recessed, like there's notches in the frame, so I'm just gonna leave it alone, and I'm just gonna work around it more or less. And that harness that I'm building, the plow harness, probably won't be on there all the time. Well, I took this chunk of angle iron, the same big heavy chunk that I used on the back of the blade, and I put in one incision in it, one cut, and then I bent the other side. So it's bent. It's actually broken a little bit where I bent it, but yeah, I cut half and bent the other half. So I measured the vehicle, and my bolt hole is going to be about 2 inches. The bolt hole is going to be in this side here on the inside, but it's going to be about 2 inches from the end, and then I have about 4.5 inches before I can start my triangulation. So I'm going to make another cut and bend it back straight to the vehicle, or straight in line with the frame. So I'll make another cut here, another bend, and do that on both sides. And I need this point and this point. The frame is about 34.5 inches. Sorry about that. The frame's about 34.5 inches wide. So if I go from there to here, if I got about 35, so I can bend it just a little more and make these cuts and put them straight back, and that'll be the A-frame that goes onto the vehicle, or that'll be the beginning of it. Well, the battery on the drill was almost done, and since it's a lithium battery, I decided to put it on charge rather than kill it completely. So I feel a little bit accomplished today. I got this A-frame made up, and it's going to be mounting on the vehicle, pivoting from these outer points here. And I drilled a pilot hole where I want it to be. And I didn't have to do any welding yet. I just cut and bend, cut and bend, cut and bend. So drill a couple holes, cut, bend, and my A-frame is almost taking shape here. I might give the battery a couple minutes and go ahead and drill those holes out a little bigger so I can try it on for size. Well, I'm super determined to try this A-frame, try it on for size. I got the holes drilled in the frame, and I've got the holes drilled in the other frame in the vehicle. So I'm going to try it on. I'd like to get that, at least that much done today. Well, there's the beginning of the A-frame. I'll have to put a pivot point in the middle here and a radius. I'll put a gusset in the A-frame and a pin hole so I can turn it and change the angle. Put a pin down through, or a couple different holes. And also this corner right here, that's a body mount. That's one of the body mounts right there. So I'll just trim this corner off, or yeah, I'll just trim that corner off a little bit. And right now the A-frame's not going down all the way. Right now this A-frame's not going down all the way because it's hitting that corner right there. So I can trim one of those or both of those. And when I lift up on the A-frame here, oh, she's a little bit heavy. This is like 1/4 inch thick steel, so it's pretty heavy duty. And sorry if I'm shaky. So yeah, so I'll have to trim that. I'll have to build some spacers or washers. But then again, I haven't tightened it up yet either. So it'll draw together, and before I weld the gussets in there. And on this side, there's that tow hook. So I might bend that a little bit, bend it over this way, because that's a pretty heavy duty space right there. but that's okay. Worst case Ontario, I'll just cut this right off, but I don't really want to cut it off. I could always shorten it somehow. Yeah. So once I get it situated and figured a little bit better, I can weld these joints or these corners, weld the front. I'm gonna have to weld a bushing or a plate with a hole down through it or something there for my center pivot. I might have to trim these off so the plow can turn. Yeah, just one step at a time with absolutely no plans. This is an old design that used to be on the Sears garden tractors back in like the 1960s, and popular with like ATVs and stuff, this design. Yeah, I'd like to have these pins here. I'd like to have them easily removable, or I don't know. It doesn't have to be bolts. It could be pins and clips, and then you just pull the pin, pull the clip, pull the pin, and drop it for the summertime or whatever. But that's where I'm at today. Things are slowly coming together here. I got some new half-inch hardware. New half-inch hardware here, and new hardware here on the pivot points. And I'm gonna be putting a new one. I've got another. This one's 4 inches long, and it's gonna go on the pivot point here somewhere. So the thicker it is this way, the stronger it'll be. So I got a 4-inch bolt there just in case. And that's probably gonna be it for today. Well, I clamped a piece on there just for fun. Yeah, I'm probably not going to have the anchor point there, but that's where the vice grips would fit, so I just put it there for now. It's probably going to be more in line with the fair lead, so it'll be pulling almost straight down and straight up, more or less, hopefully. But I just wanted to test it out. Feel a little more accomplished today. But yeah, slowly but surely, as usual.